behind us here to rapidly hear a case that we filed with the court on Friday, May 15th, that challenges the totality of the governor's ability to rule the state by executive decree. The crux of the complaint focuses on the illegality of the governor's ability to do that. We maintain that the legislature itself has full vested legislative authority in the state. That authority cannot be legally abdicated to the governor, as it already has been. And what we're asking the court to do is hear this case within 5 business days. So we filed it on Friday, so we're already several days in. Looking for a speedy decision on this, a speedy hearing on it. We'll be filing an injunction as well, seeking for the court to step in and halt the governor's rule by decree antics in the state. And there's a range of far-reaching civil rights complaints dealing with various elements of the Constitution. We've got First Amendment claims, we have Second Amendment claims, we have Fifth Amendment claims, 14th Amendment, and a range of others. And really all we're asking the court to do is step in and give New Yorkers the constitutional protections that they are due. So I'm a plaintiff in this suit regarding First and Second Amendment claims. We have a range of others here today, including Brandon Lewis, who's the owner of the Firing Pin in Bergen, New York. It's a firearms retailer that was unilaterally shut down by the governor's hastily stood up pause task force. He was harassed by state investigators, was shut down under this flimsy and what we believe to be illegal authority. And we believe this was done in the spirit of First Amendment retaliation. Folks who are familiar with Brandon probably saw him in news coverage. He was a very prominent protester in the Virginia gun rights rally earlier this year in Richmond. We know that the governor was aware of that, didn't appreciate New York State being represented in a pro-gun light. And we believe that the Pause Task Force, under authority of the governor, targeted Brandon specifically in retaliation for his exercise of First Amendment civil rights in support of Second Amendment civil rights in a totally separate state. So that's just one of numerous abuses that's articulated in the complaint. But what I'm going to do now is have Brandon come up and tell us a bit about his story, what happened to him, and why it's so important to fight this abuse of power. So Brandon, come on up.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for organizing this amazing event and really this lawsuit with Jim. And we wouldn't be here, without you organizing this. So again, thank you. And yeah, going back to January, I participated in a rally down in Virginia for gun rights, and they had a almost very similar situation where the governor was pushing for sweeping gun control that the people were not in favor of. And there was a demonstration. And again, I was quite prominent in that. I brought a Barrett 50 cal, and I guess some would say stole the show. So I have this belief that Governor Cuomo has a dartboard somewhere in his office with my face from that on there, and some of his enforcement agents have taken that threat literally and shut me down. We were operating completely within the guidelines that other larger businesses have operated under. They called me and said it does not matter what things you have in place, what rules you have, what safeguards you have, you are shut down. Gun stores are not essential. They need to be shut down under threat of losing several of our state-issued licenses, which if those are revoked, you'll never get again. So we followed, this threat and shut down the business. Again, much to our dismay, there are several other gun stores that still remain open that have never received such shutdown orders. And that again goes against the very idea of government involvement in business, which they should not be involved with to begin with. But when they do get involved, their whole purpose is to make things fair, not completely unfair situations, shutting down small local businesses in favor of larger national chains. And I think that's one of the many things we're bringing against New York State and the governor and the other defendants in the case. So at this point, I'd like to bring up Duane. Thank you.
I'm Duane Whitmer, the Erie County Libertarian Party Committee Chairman and New York 27th Congressional District Libertarian candidate in the special and November elections. Besides being a politician, I'm an accountant, small business owner. Every day I get calls and people in my office telling me that they Their business is forcefully shut down by Andrew Cuomo because they were deemed non-essential. Yet they can't get unemployment. They can't get ways to feed their family. I have clients that have tried to file for unemployment since middle of March. We are now closer to the mid of June, or mid-May, pardon me, and there's still no unemployment. There's still no way to feed their families. There's still no way to support themselves. They're told that if they go outside, they're killing your grandma. Yet Andrew Cuomo allowed COVID positive patients to go into nursing homes and actually kill grandmas.
That's right.
So statistically speaking, Andrew Cuomo is more likely to kill your grandma than me going outside. They said that if you go outside, you're a terrible person. These people just want to feed their families. They want to support their family and do what's right. They don't need government to tell them how to live their lives. They don't need government to tell them how to exist. They need government out of their way so they can support their families. Brandon is a great example, and coming up next, we'll have a gym owner from Orchard Park who the government went out of their way to mess with and shut down. Another example of how the government works against you every chance it gets. So I'm going to bring him up. He's going to tell his story, and we'll go from there.
Hi, thank you everybody. My name is Robby Dinero, and I own a gym called Athletes Unleashed in Orchard Park, New York. I decided to open up my business on Monday to bring my athletes back in, and the police showed up. They showed up prior to the class starting. They had nothing to report. There was no class being done, so they left. There was no crime, so they left. I had another class planned for later on in the afternoon. Prior to that class starting, the town showed up with their supervising building inspector, code enforcement officer, Steve Bremer. B-R-E-M-E-R, Steve Bremer. He waited in my parking lot for about 5 minutes. 3 more police officers showed up. I walked outside, asked him what I could help him with, and Stephen Bremer let me know that if I held a class, he would immediately pull my certificate of occupancy and he would shut my power down. I told him to pound sand, but he couldn't do it. The police said if I had a class, they would arrest me. Now I want to be clear, the police were super professional, they were awesome, and they were not interested in making an arrest. They were hoping they would not have to, because they don't believe this stuff.
They should not have.
Stephen Bremer reassured me that he would absolutely revoke my certificate of occupancy. And he said even if he was proved wrong, it would be at least 3 months, 2 or 3 months before I got my certificate of occupancy back, because the way the backlog is in the courts, with the courts being closed, I wouldn't get a chance to have my day in court. So even if he was in the wrong, I would still be suffering for 2 to 3 months with my business closed. That gave me pause. I told them, you've got my word, I won't do another class that night. That was Monday. But I said I'm going to try to open again. And that's why I'm involved here. Specifically, the reason I am involved here, this is about freedom. This has nothing to do with politics. This isn't Democrat, this isn't Republican, this isn't liberal, this isn't conservative, this is freedom.
Yep.
I am not a constitutional scholar. I'm not Googling Wikipedia right now to give you some fancy quote. We have all been granted freedom by the grace of God.
Amen.
Period. We have unalienable rights that can't be taken away by any man or any government. I have the right to assemble. I have the right to due process. They are denying me those rights. Now, why is this important? Why am I taking a stand? For all my detractors out there that are saying I should be staying at home, your beliefs I support. If you're scared of corona, you're scared of either catching the virus or spreading the virus, stay home. I support your belief. Me supporting your belief to stay home changes nothing about anybody's life other than your own. Your belief that I should stay home changes my life.
That's right.
Your belief, trying to force me to believe what you believe, forces me to change my way of life. And that's not right. I fought for this country for 14 years as a Marine. I'm going to keep fighting for this country and doing what's right. We are not closing. I will be open again. Thank you. Turn it over to Jim.
I'm Jim Ostrowski. I've been a lawyer for 36 years. I made a decision about 6 months ago that I'm not going to handle cases on a full-time basis for personal reasons. But people wanted me to file a suit against this, but I was busy doing election law cases. but when I read the statute that gives the governor the power to rule by decree, I got angry, and I said, not only will I take this case with a team of attorneys and co-counsel, I'm going to personally sue the governor, and I don't do that very often. So I'm personally suing the governor. We can't have rule by decree.
That's right.
In the United States.
That's right.
Because it violates every precept of American small r Republican government that's been understood since 1650. We had the pre-founding fathers. They went back to England. This has been going on a long time. And none of them would have countenanced the legislature giving power that they didn't have to delegate their power to the governor so that he could issue a decree every single day. And even lawyers are scrambling around. We don't even know what the law is. And then he delegated that power to unelected regional bodies and public officials. And it's virtually impossible to even figure out what's legal or not anymore. So I did agree to file this. I filed it in 21 days. I got a legal fee up front of $50. I did this because there's not that many attorneys who have expertise in this area, and I knew that frankly, if I didn't do it, it wouldn't get done. There are some other lawsuits, and they're all by fine attorneys. I've read a lot of them, and I agree with their arguments. What distinguishes this is that we explain the basic principles so the public can understand that this is this rule by decree and the way he's exercised it is unprecedented in American history. We've never had anything like it since 1607 when the first settlers landed at Virginia, and it cannot be tolerated. Even if they're claiming they're slowly opening up, it's going to be based on conditions imposed by illegal orders. The statute allows them to issue these types of orders with respect to terrorism, and you know the term terrorism is going to be inflated in the future. It already has been used to describe lawful protesters in Michigan. So whether they're opening up or not, or partially opening up, and even lawyers don't even understand what they're doing, we're going to go ahead with the lawsuit and ask federal court to put an end to this. And we're challenging basically every aspect of this. We're challenging the ban on public meetings, the ban on religious services, which is unprecedented. The people came over here from Europe originally for religious freedom, so that goes against 350 years of American tradition. We're challenging the Second Amendment violations, the Fourth Amendment violation, being forced to wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, it's fine. Nothing stopping you from doing it. But we cannot allow the governor to issue orders on whim like Caesar used to do in the old movies, because there's no limit to what he could do in the future. And the next governor, you may like this particular governor. Well, what if you don't like the next governor? So we're fighting to end really what's been installed very quickly as a totalitarian system of government, which basically would be the end of the American experiment. Now, if you think that, if you really believe in this system of totalitarian government, where the governor sort of gets to dictate every aspect of your life on a daily basis, like some bad dystopian novel that we had to read in high school, then fine, come right out and say it. Say there is no Constitution. I don't even know why you would have voting. If people are so stupid they can't take care of their own basic health needs, why do you think they're smart enough to vote? Let's just get into full-on dictatorship. So there's a lot more I could say, but it's a beautiful, nice, sunny day. We're all getting some vitamin D today, by the way, which is very important for your immune system. and that is not fake news. So if there's any questions, I want to thank all the people for agreeing to be plaintiffs in this lawsuit, and we've gotten a tremendous amount of public support. That's the only way to do a lawsuit like this. There's no deep pocket. There's no man behind the curtain. This is pure grassroots resistance to tyranny, as we saw at Lexington and Concord, when the tyrants of the day came to grab all of our guns so that they can dictate, again, every aspect of our life. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim, and to all the plaintiffs who are part of the case and came out to support us today, and all those folks who have sent in donations both online and via mail. We appreciate the support. To learn more about the case and its progress, you can visit us at 2A NYS. It's numeral 2, A like Alpha, NYS like NewYorkState.com, and you can also make a donation there as well. We'll be providing